XRP and XDC, the significance of XDC tokenizing precious metals. Max, this is a huge topic. There's so many different factors of how, or facts and figures that help the whole idea of tokenizing of real world assets, the moving of these assets. And then people have the thought of backing different currencies with metals, but getting that stuff put online is pretty important. And this is the discussion we have today, right?
Absolutely. It is the discussion and it is a hot topic because we've been doing this ongoing series. So before you guys saw some of the thumbnails between myself and Will, whether it's XRP Gold or XLM Silver, this one is technically speaking XDC Copper. So you're going to see some end screen cards, at least on my channel, that will connect you to those if you're new. But before we jump into the material, we kindly ask you to smash that like if you haven't done so already. And this benefits both channels, the Decent wallet. Get yourself a significant discount. We're going to play that, then we're going to come right back.
If you own crypto, you need a self-custody wallet. I've chosen the Decent wallet after owning several different wallets. I believe you will like it too. Use the link in the description. Purchase from my site. It does help support the channel. I appreciate it.
Okay, welcome back. So what we have for you today is from Smoke once again, and he has something in which he gets really into the nitty-gritty about. So what does he have? Well, as it comes across on your screen, Smoke mentions that XDC is, quote, tokenizing precious metals with XDC's M protocol with ISO 222 financial messaging standards. Now, I'm going to come back into the frame for a moment on this one because I want you guys to understand that ISO 222 mandate for the United States is March 10th, worldwide mandate where the coexistence period for SWIFT especially ends in November 22nd of this year, 2025. So when you see some of these things referencing ISO, well, again, put two and two together. There's not going to be a coexistence period by November 22nd, 2025. And would that create more demand for the ones that are compliant? I mean, come on, think about it. I don't think it's rocket science at this point, but where the case be, I want to put out that disclaimer. So what does Smoke really have? He points out that, for example, XDC is a highly attractive investment vehicle in very near future. We're basically really close to that. It's documented that in addition to bridge, or to the bridge, and what bridge are we talking about? Think about R3/4 bridge, things like that. Kinesis will add the XDC network's native token to this roster of assets. Here's the highlight though, and that is with Kinesis oncoming debit card launch, the XDC token, like all cryptocurrencies on the platform, will gain a heightened liquidity as well as compatibility with Kinesis crypto overdraft and lending card features. Combining Kinesis leveraging of precious metals, because we were talking about some of this stuff, with XDC's financial protocol and blockchain innovation stands to make it for highly attractive investment vehicles, of course, in the very near future. And like you see at the bottom, XDC's delegated proof-of-stake consensus network enabling hybrid relay bridges, instant block finality, and full compliance and interoperability with ISO 222 financial messaging standards. To get further into this, I want to share this also with you guys. How many times have you seen this over the course of, dating back to like 2020, 2021, and so on? Yeah. Stellar, Ripple, you get the idea, but even with XDC, this whole thing of copper, okay? So before I kick it into this a little bit more with Smoke, I want you guys to understand there is truly a whole thing of XRP, SBI, and XDC. I should have said before I kick it over. I did kick it over. So what's the highlight even with this before we kick it over actually to Will? Well, SBI Group has in fact established itself as an ecosystem that can generate synergies through a group of companies with various supporting functions centered on the crypto asset exchange. You see in the middle, SBI Japan Crypto Asset Trust started operations from July 2023. You see the whole thing about SBI VC Trade. You see the whole thing of a Web3 wallet. And by the way, I think in the future, some of these Web3 wallets is totally the over wallet from Quant Network. We already understand that Quant Network has a connection, obviously, not to just Ripple, but especially XDC. We also see here how it all orchestrates and how it all comes together. So international remittance using Ripple payments. XDC has this plug with the partnership agreement providing trade finance solutions using crypto assets, XDC network. And on the bottom, it says, when the crypto asset market enters an expansion phase, the SBI group will work together to provide crypto asset trading and related services. So to me, this is a major deal moving forward. And just in case you're like, I don't know, I mean, cool story, bro, Maximus. I need to see something a little bit more new about Japan because you told me about XRP and XDC. Well, I'm already ahead of you. This is something that flew under the radar. Yahoo News reported back in November that Japan finds massive rare deposits, metal deposits worth, my goodness, roughly $26 billion. So think about this. If Japan moving forward wants to tokenize this, well, they already have a platform for it. And my thing is back to the discovery from Smoke. This is how it all comes together. It comes together through things like SBI. So with that said, your thoughts, Mr. Will Fix.
Wow, the tokenization of precious metals, man. There's several aspects of this that are fascinating. Number one is liquidity to me. Then accessibility. Liquidity meaning, like, I just recently sold some silver. I had accumulated a lot of silver, and I decided I was going to put more in actually XRP and then Ondo and some other things. So I needed to sell some of my silver to move that. Well, that was a little more difficult than I thought it would be. But um, I've sold silver before, and you feel like you're selling for a loss because you got to sell it cheaper than what it's worth. However, if I was able to tokenize it, I wouldn't have to sell it much cheaper than what it's worth, unless I wanted to move it. So liquidity for gold, silver, copper is going to be tremendous if we tokenize those metals. Then accessibility. When you buy, I buy from SD Bullion, and I also buy from or used to, and I used to buy from JM. What is it? JM. It's not Bullion, is it? But there was a couple platforms that I bought from. Now I use Miles Franklin, but you have to order it. You have to pay shipping. Then you have to wait on it. Then you're concerned while all that's happening. And you can sell to these same organizations, but you have the same thing. You have to box it. You have to sell it. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but you have to double box it. Then you're not sending it to Miles and Franklin. They have you send it to like another address, and they have you fake out what it is. It looks like a broken item because you have to label it like it's a broken item. So just think of all that. You got all of this stuff you have to do just to offload it. And so as soon as you tokenize it, you got the liquidity and the accessibility. You get online and buy it just like you bought your crypto or just like you buy stocks and bonds. So you're going to have a cost reduction because you're not going to be paying shipping. You got transparency and security. You're going to have different places that are holding the gold and the silver. And I guess they, assign that to since it's tokenized, all of the gold is pre-tokenized, and then those tokens are the tokens that switch hands. So that's a security and a transparency type of thing. Then the global market, you could buy tokenized all over the world, tokenized metals. So the efficiency, even fractional ownership, you could get into smaller amounts that you buy. The environmental impact, the trust and verification factor, and people, as we tokenize real world assets, they're going to be more adapt to that process, and it's just going to be a way to move massive amounts of value easily. and to back things easily. So this topic is so big, so massive. Never in our lifetimes have been able to, what you're theoretically owning the gold, but it's also an absolute, because just like when you own gold or silver now through buying on the ETFs, you have to own so much and you have to get certified, but you can go and pick that gold and silver up, which would probably be the same way if you decided you actually wanted to hold it, that this tokenized real world assets and tokenizing these metals would do. So to me, it's mind blowing. The amount of value that gets added on to the ledger by tokenizing gold and silver is massive. So I love the news.
Yeah, it is truly big news to say the least. And this will bring us to this last part, also from smoke. So it's like we have the whole thing of tokenized metals, precious metals, and whatnot. Well, even with us, even if we're not tokenizing, some of this with what we have personally, right? Like me, Will, and whoever else. Well, what about, again, staking? Look at this. This is another great discovery from Smoke. Once again, what does he have? Well, he gets into the whole thing of this right here, and it's confirmation of institutional staking with, yeah, you read it right, XRP and XDC. For example, 2024 legal prospectus from Valor Digital Securities. Digital securities equals securities ETF ETP. A lot of news, as we know, Will, when it comes to this recently with the ETFs, but is it linked to digital assets? So prospectus provides all necessary legal and financial information on Valor's XRP XDC physical staking products and the major fiat currencies they will be, like what's available. The quote says in this document, physical staking, and it means that the passive income is definitely offered by this product will involve actual XRP and XDC tokens. I mean, this is crazy stuff, but it's there. Let's show you what we're talking about real quick before we get Will's closing thoughts. Back last year, in April to be exact, we see Valor Digital Securities incorporated and registered in Jersey under the company's, Jersey 1991 law. Exchange Traded Products, that's the ETP, by the way, program for the issue of digital securities. So you see how this is all there in the particular document and so on. And it specifically mentions digital securities. Okay, so we confirm that. Jump into the next part of this. Here's where it gets juicy. Okay, so, look at this. One Valor XDC network, physical US dollar, XDC network. Some of you guys have said in the comments, for whatever reason, that you feel as though the XDC is strictly Singapore. But then you start seeing these pairings, and it's like, yeah, there's that connection. So look at this. That's no knock on you guys, right? We're all taking it in as we do. But constant references in regards to physical staking, not just the US dollar, Great Britain pounds, the euro. We see, for example, even XRP listed here. So in my view, this is, this is some big news to say the least. And yeah, I couldn't agree more with Mr. Smoke here. Physical staking means the passive income offered by this product will involve actual XRP and XDC tokens, and that institutional DeFi is coming. I think it's coming here very, very soon. And if anything, your closing thoughts in that regard, Mr. Will Fix.
Sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. And when you break this down, what we just, on the surface, you just hear it and you go, okay, that's interesting. But check this out, okay? So I have several monster boxes of silver eagles. So they sit here. They're in my safe, and they sit here and they earn nothing. They don't earn anything. Well, each one of those boxes is worth somewhere around $14,000, I guess. So if you had several of those boxes, those are earning zero. Now, as the price goes up, And as hard as they are to move, you are having to sell at a discount to have liquid funds. Um, I sold some recently, and it was at $31, so I got spot price. So you basically don't get any of the premium that's added to the coin. So so here you have this silver, but you kind of have to sell it for a discount in order to get rid of it. And if you've held it, I've had this since 2022. If you've held it for several years, you've made nothing additionally on it. So now look what's happening. Now I can have, and I'm always going to want some physical silver, because when the nuclear war happens and the radiation causes a zombie apocalypse, I'm going to want to have something in my hand that I can, you know, buy the proper bullets to shoot the zombies in the head, right? So I'm going to need some kind of a way to do commerce that I just think safety wise, you know. So I'm not a prepper, but I want some of that silver in my hand. But other than that, to be able to tokenize this and stake it, that means for several years I could have earned money on silver. So if you're holding, you know, a bunch of silver, I can see, you know, tokenizing it here and earning XRP. How many times you got to say that before I love it? You know, will you be my Valentine's? Little tokenized metals. But this is really revolutionary in gold and silver, to be able to stake it and to earn something from it, because until now you can't really do that. There's a few places you can do it, but then they have custody of your metal, and you got the whole shipping thing to do, and silver is very heavy. So this is massive news. This is not going to be something that's going to be developed and then not participated in. This is going to be just a wave of participation for people to own metals like copper. Copper has, you know, it's a pretty volatile product sometimes. But when you start buying copper, you got tons of huge bars of copper that, you know, they're going to equal anything. So no, you want tokenized. You want tokenized copper and then stake it and make money two different ways. So I think it's massive news. I love it.
I love it too. You know, a perspective that I want to share. I know a lot of times I just jump to Will in the summaries because he does an excellent job with it. And I've gotten a lot of reports from you guys that you love these collaborations with Will. And, you know, you recommended the channel to other people. Guys, we can't thank you enough for that. We really just can't thank you enough for it. I mean, thank you for blessing us that way. Okay. But one thing I want to share with you guys is this, and I think Will can agree with this. So just a little background before we wrap this up. Will and I connected over 20 plus years ago through Medal of Honor Allied Assault, through our gaming community. And we saw over the years, right, Will, like, we had the physical Medal of Honor Allied Assault, and you had to install that on the computer. But then we went from, you know, going from like things to the, you know, like that to like Steam, where everything is digital. So think about this. If in gaming, they went from physical to digital representation, then why wouldn't this stuff that we're invested into not be fully digitized? So again, back to the whole thing of precious metals and so on. I mean, you can get that tokenized representation, whether it's copper, gold, silver, and so on, represented on chain, and then you don't have to bother with the whole thing of having one big bullion shipped to your house or where the case be. It's already represented on chain. I know that we said we wrap it up, but again, just real quick, that in itself, Will, how significant that is.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up then. Guys, we can't thank you enough. Simply do us a favor. You listen to the entire outline and type this into the comments, and that is tokenized physical metal assets, or just type in metals, and we'll know that you listen to the entire outline. On behalf of myself and Will Fix, know what you have, know what you hold it, the research transfer at 110%. We will see you on the next one.